Hello and welcome to the Racetech UV8 Supercar Series live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me this evening, as always, is Marco Barb, and we're here in New York State at the Watkins Glen International Circuit. And Marco, not only are we around the circuit, we're around the Cup layout, the NASCAR layout, mega short circuit. And it is the 3 super sprint events today. This format and track is pretty much a perfect combination.
Absolutely, Sam, you are right. Hello, everyone. Hello, Sam. This is going to be a good one. There is no two ways about it, because this is one of the best racetracks, one of the most popular racetracks in all of iRacing. We have a big field of 26 cars signed up for this race, and another chance to try out the new Super Sprint format with timed races. We're seeing that this season, and of course, race 3 will not be a full reverse, but another random reverse, just as in race 2. It's a track where the first few laps, and not only those, can be very tricky considering the very narrow S section, and of course the bus stop chicane where drama can happen at any lap. So this might be the chance to have a real surprise winner in one of these races.
Yes, I often speak about the legend that is JP Boosland. He won at Lime Rock, I believe it was about a year and a half ago now. Yeah, it was 3 seasons ago. Similar stage in the championship to this. I believe this is round 5 of the season. And yeah, he managed to hold out for the win. Apart from that, we haven't really had a proper surprise winner ever since then. But this super sprint format round this circuit really does offer up an opportunity for a few of the drivers. So far, Marco, we've been enthralled by this championship. We've got so many big names about. But after Virginia International Raceway last week, where we saw the participation just drop a little bit, and this man, Michael Taliancic, not being able to attend, means that Brandon has got a bit of an advantage at the moment ahead of George McClay, who's been mega consistent so far this season, and also got his first win of the season at Virginia 2 weeks ago. Tony Klusman in third place, next Chris Jackson, Hal Stepp. If you look at the Michael Taniancic is down in maybe 10th position, something like that in the championship. But of course, when you take into consideration the drop rounds, Marco, he's still got a very good fighting chance at this season 7 title.
Absolutely. The drop round, of course, working in his favor. I'm sure he wants to come back with a bang in this round and put some good points on the board. And so far in qualifying, as you can see, he is doing so with the temporary provisional pole position in 1 minute 10 seconds 4.95, with George McClay very close to him. And Tony Klusterman as well. Just a word for the NQR guys. They are running NASCAR tribute paint schemes. Tony Klusterman and Chris Jackson are both running Cold Trickle, the Days of Thunder protagonist throwback schemes. Greg Carr is running a Ken Irwin Jr. / Juan Pablo Montoya tribute scheme, and to round off Gary Croft with what I think is I think a Dale Jr. Budweiser throwback, but there is one more. There is one more which I'm missing. Anthony Woodward, I think, is running with a Kyle Petty throwback scheme. We will surely see them in action. Great idea. I really love, as a NASCAR fan, what they did for this. This is one of the 3, I should say, road courses in the NASCAR calendar.
Yes, of course. It's fantastic to see the inventiveness of the drivers out there. Of course, Tony Klusman lives not too far away from here. He does live over the border in Canada, but I mean, I think he lives maybe 100 miles or so from this very race circuit, so has got quite a few ties with it. Yeah, it's currently qualifying, still continuing out there on the circuit. And yeah, Mike Sanchez, everyone saw the F1 qualifying earlier on. You should know that the provisional pole doesn't necessarily give you pole position, but he is doing very well. George McClay in second place, but it's ever so close at the top of those standings. Of course, in this 15-minute qualifying, as long as they cross the line, they can finish the lap that they start in. That is what Chris Jackson's going to be able to do, unless this lap is good enough anyway. He crosses the line, but he does not improve. Sits in 6th place at the moment, which is no mean feat considering the competitiveness of this field. The check flag is out, and the drivers, like I said, can now finish their final lap. Can Taliancic go even faster than he's gone in the past? He's only got 2 more corners to go. There aren't many around this Watkins Glen Cup layout. Through the left-hander, and then will just be a quick right, and that will take him to the final line. You can see how close the drivers have to get to the wall. He gets a little bit of wheel spin on the exit. It's not bad for Taliancic by any means. Did a 10.5 before. He does not improve there. Can Johnny Brandon, championship leader, defending champion, of course, can he improve? Or sorry, defending champion from 2 seasons ago. Comes to the line, 10.7 so far. His best, and he does improve. And he just goes ahead of Tony Policeman by 1/1000th of a second. Don't get much closer than that. In iRacing, it does go down to 8 decimal points. We don't get to see all those 8 decimal places, but 1,000th certainly is close enough.
Yeah, as qualifying is just about over, 3 drivers did not take part in qualifying. Jakub Widerka, a new name in the series, Katie Rostarato and Victor Tanaka, sadly, also haven't joined in the proceedings, and I fear they won't be a part of the race itself, at least for race 1. Of course, they will be eligible to participate in race 2 if they want. As Andrew Hoffman is getting some nice camera time. Can he improve? Is this a valid lap? We will know in just a second. No, it wasn't. So he stays in P17 as qualifying is finally over. And in just a short second, we shall give you the starting grid for this race. Yes, there we go.
Here we go then. So Michael Taliancic on pole position can get his race win pretty much in a row. Remember, he missed 2 weeks ago. Before that, he was on a 3-race winning streak. Certainly the man with the momentum, and he needs to get some points back in the championship. George McClay, terrific qualifying for him. Not usually the best qualified, so ominous signs for the rest of the field going into these 3 races today. Johnny Brandon starts in 3rd place, championship leader. Tony Klusman starts in 4th with Hal Stadler running out the top 5. Really good qualifying for Stadler there. Then it's Chris Jackson, Greg Carr, Ronald Moons, Guy Croft, Nikolai Bogotyrev, Richard Warmingham, Steve Lavelli, Clyde Whiting, could see him up there, Anthony Woodward, Peter Bingham, Lane O'Connor, Andrew Hoffman, Miroslav Nastal, Czech, Samuel Buzan, Maciej Kuzak, Ryan Walker, Michael Frost, Bill Switzer, and then, as Marco was saying before, Victor Tanaka, Jakub Widerka, and Katie Rose Taranto did not set qualifying times, but, as Marco also said, they are eligible to start this race, and I think will be eligible as well for races 2 and 3 as long as they grid up. Just a few more drivers to get on the grid now, but Marco, are we going to see much overtaking? Can you see someone overtaking Taliancic for the race lead in this race, or is it going to be a bit more of a procession?
Well, very tough to pass, but you have the opportunity to do so. You can send it on the inside of this first corner, and of course you can do that at the bus stop. So I'm expecting there to be overtakes in this race.
That's certainly what we want to see. Taliancic won't want to see that, I'm sure. He's on the pole position then. I've just got a few more seconds of gridding up until we're going to get this race 1 at Watkins Glen underway. 15 minutes. These drivers will be sprinting around this New York State circuit. Taliancic with a little bit of movement on the grid. Shouldn't get any penalty for that. We're about to get underway here. And away we go. Taliancic pulls away from the rest of the field. Not a great start for McClay. He's going to drop potentially behind Johnny Brandon straight away going down into turn 1. Stadler also challenging Klusman going into turn 1, but Taliancic with a fantastic run through, and he should be able to pull away down this next straight. You can see the drivers all relatively single file as they swarm up the hill, and Taliancic, like I said, pulling away from the rest of the order. Croft up ahead of Moons. There's been no change in the top 7, although actually as I say that, Klusman's just got past Brandon. This could be a very significant move as they go into the chicane. and that is brilliant there from Tony Klusman. He was under pressure from Stadler initially, but clearly launched himself down that back straight and has managed to get ahead of the XBR driver. So that's the most significant change. Still in the lead, Taliancic pulls away.
And a very nice clean start from everyone, which is great to see. Hopefully this will continue to be the case for race 2 and race 3, as the first lap should be in the books right now. As we can see, Richard Wormingham trying to make a move on Ronald Moose. Or is it the other way? Yeah, it's Ronald Moose trying to make a move on Wormingham.
Yes, and Bogota is going to get involved as well. So it goes down the inside. Is Bogota going to get 2 for the price of 1 triple 5 car? Well, you know what? He's going to come away rather empty-handed, I think, because a good pace on the outside there for Warmingham. Big slide for one of the drivers behind him, Warmingham as well, with the big slide. Somehow, both of them keeping out of the barriers. They are in pretty close proximity around this place. And I think it was maybe Peter Bingham who really had that big slide through that part of the circuit. Croft has gained another place, by the way. He's now got past Greg Keyes up into 7th place as the Never Quit Racing driver. And also, seemingly, McClay with, well, has he got a queue behind him? Is this a Jane Klusman who's usually lightning in qualifying? Not sure if he's actually got a pole position though this season. It's not been Tony's best season ever, of course, the Season 1 and Season 2 champion, of course, and is always picking up wins there and thereabouts for the whole season. Last season, I think he got more poles than anyone else. This season, not quite so much, but his race pace, if anything, has been more impressive. And this is what we're seeing right now, Marco. He's looking like the fastest driver on circuit.
Absolutely, as we go onto the start-finish line for another lap. Remember, just 15 minutes. And as you can see, the fastest laps are dropping and dropping. Now it's Arl Stedler, your fastest lap award recipient, if there was something as such in this championship, which there is not. But still, good pace from all of the drivers in the top 5, I have to say. That Taliancic, Sam, seems to have a little bit extra pace. Here we go with Johnny Brandon on the outside of Klusterman. He cannot pull the trigger because there was some good defending there from Tony.
Yeah, it's really difficult for Klusman out here. Of course, he wants to attack the driver ahead, but got to be very aware of the driver behind, and a podium would still be a decent result for the Canadian. This is what happened to Andrew Hoffman then, running wide. Ooh, just skimming that barrier. It's not really much of a corner in prototypes and even in GT racing, but in these cars, I believe you do actually have to lift off just at the crest of that hill. And it's quite a challenge. Oh, Klusman surely in the wall there. It is tyre barriers, so he might not have too much bad damage. But after trying to attack for second place, he's going to drop down to 3rd at least. Stadler also getting involved. Granton almost getting a bit of a wiggle on, and Klusman was very deep on the brakes. We'll have to wait and see how much damage he's got. But to me, Marco, it doesn't look too bad, although I mean his pace would suggest otherwise.
Yeah, now Chris Jackson also went past him. So Klusterman dropping down to 6th place. Absolutely, it was not the biggest of mistakes, and you are right. There was a tire barrier there, so it's not like hitting a concrete wall. But still, maybe it just threw him off his rhythm a bit. But whatever the case, now he has, I think he's a bit angry with himself because not going to be easy to make up the positions he lost due to how close the speed of this top driver is.
Definitely, and you want to take all the results you can. Of course, we will have a big reverse grid for races 2 and 3 with this new wheel that Clyde Whiting designed. Of course, they always say that you can't reinvent the wheel, but that is exactly what this series has done with the double spinner. And it means that we're guaranteed a reverse grid of at least 16, I believe, but the majority of the time it is a full one. So if you do drop back a little bit in race 1, well, you might start a little bit further up in race 2, at least. That's the silver lining to it. That was Joe just moving up. Cusack just running a little bit wide as he can do at that turn 1. But yeah, amount of slow Nastal check. Just moving through. He's had a really good race so far, up 4 places in 14th place or 15th place as I'm currently seeing him. And I can say his sights on the drivers ahead ever so close at the moment, Mark. You can pretty much see all the drivers in that one back straight.
Yeah, and on the sheet that I got before the race, Nastalchik and Kuzak are in a different team, but I'm seeing them in the same livery, and both of them being from Poland, I would imagine we have a new force in this championship, a new Polish team, which is very much welcome indeed. As you see there in the back, Ryan Walker, this time our Ryan Walker, unlike Wednesday nights, trying to make his way, very new to this championship and really enjoying his time. But of course, he's a very quick driver, but it's a steep learning curve with this car, no matter who you are.
This is our Ryan Walker, correct?
Yes.
Yes, of course, it's Talk Freak, not
Mhm.
Ryan D. Walker, of course. Anyone who's been on iRacing knows the troubles of trying to identify drivers. But of course, yes, this is our fellow commentator, the Scottish Ryan Walker. And trying to make up some places. Moons is losing a place, though, to Bogotayev, who nearly made that move a few laps ago, if you remember, but this time has got it done. Not the easiest place to overtake, actually, into that chicane, because as long as you cover the inside line, it's so narrow going into that corner. You're going to be very brave to go around the outside. It's probably not going to reward you too much. And so, probably doing the wise thing there of backing out to that one for Ronald Moons. Steve Labelli also trying to get past us. Moons is now going to lose another place to Richard Warmingham.
Yes, absolutely. Some issues there for Ronald. Nice to have Steve Lavelli back. He was quite the fixture in the past, as Klusterman went past Jackson in the meantime and set the fastest lap of the race. You know, he was also a big presence in the BSR Sundays in the GT3s, so nice to have him here tonight. As back at the front, it's still Taljancic from McLay. Brandon is in third. Arasteder now under big pressure from Tony Klusterman. Let's jump on board with the NQR driver.
So backwards and then forwards again for Klusterman. He did drop behind Jackson, I believe, actually did.
Yes.
Klusterman, but yeah, managed to get himself back ahead. And I mean, he'll be annoyed because I think he's possibly the fastest driver out there. It's always difficult to tell how much pace the leader has, because I'm sure Taljancic is anything but pushing 100%, or pushing at about 70% at the moment. Klusterman gets a big load of understeer. In real life, that wouldn't cost you too much anymore because it's tarmacked over that whole runoff there. A lot of calls for this place to get rescanned by iRacing, seeing that the scan is about 10 years old now and has changed quite significantly with the grandstands and the run affairs, like I was saying. But personally, at least, I do prefer this one. Probably get punished for going too wide.
Well, Sam, we had some news today of the new Cayman GT4 coming to iRacing. I'm a bit happy about that because the GT4 Cayman is my favorite GT4 in Project Cars 2, so I'm very happy about that. But also iRacing very quickly, they have scanned the new chicane in Charlotte, so it's already in the simulator. Came into in the latest update, so that was surprisingly quick.
Yes, I think that was the maybe third time they've been to Charlotte to take
Yes.
the road course. It's been changed a few times. They'd already had to remodel it due to them adding that chicane, I believe, at the start-finish line. That wasn't originally meant to be there. But then they changed the chicane again, and all for the wiser. We know we don't want spinal injuries in NASCAR, and that chicane was breeding that, it must be said. I mean, going through there, but no, they've slowed it down a little bit, which is very good to see. And I mean, yeah, hopefully, maybe at some point this circuit will be redone. But as I said, there are a few others, which I'm sure many iRacers would like to see done first. McLeod getting closer and closer still to Taljancic. This is 0.2 of a second, and he's got a better run as well down the back straight. Not going to have a whole lot of opportunity is McLeod. Usually a very rational driver, I'd say. He's not overly, he doesn't attack too much. Isn't over aggressive. But at the same time, he isn't overly passive either, and it really does help his point scoring. Of course, currently outscoring the championship leader, Johnny Brandon, who's just sitting behind him.
Oh,
And
this is a beautiful camera. Thank you, iRacing.
I did do a camera pack for the big circuit. I haven't adjusted it for this circuit, but I'll try to get onto that between races 1 and 2. And we might actually see some action out there. Be great.
So yeah, good sequence of laps from McLeay. Now he's just about in the rear end of Taliancic, trying to put some pressure. The same can be said for Tony Klusterman, very close to Harald Stadler, trying a move at the S's, which is something you would not like to do most of the times. Very respectful driving, fantastic stuff. You cannot pull this move very often, no matter the competition, no matter the league. But in the Euro V8, it's possible apparently, and a great pass from Tony Klusterman, Sam.
Yes, gets ahead, and that was a very good cooperation there from Harald Stadler, who I'm sure would have been very keen to hang on to that P4, especially with what's going on ahead as the top three close in on one another. Perhaps Stadler was maybe seeing a potential race win coming his way, drops back down into 5th place, and sure, will score some decent points today. He's getting a little bit closer, getting that slipstream effect as we see in NASCAR in real life, really helping him out is the maturity, just 90-degree corners and long straights around this place. Helps the drivers get a little bit closer to one another, and that's what's helping George McLeay currently. 0.3 of a second, the gap between the 777 car and the 31 car. Of course, Taliancic, a driver in the V8 Scops series, or whatever it's called, the official V8 Supercar, or the official Supercars series, something like that. So, of course, it's sanctioned by the real-life Supercars series. As O'Connor, big slide for him, and quite a queue currently forming behind Clyde Whiting, who was complimenting on his fantastic qualifying performance. He's gone up since then by 1 place up into 12th, but there is O'Connor, Nastarchai, Lavelli, Woodward, and Kuzak all sitting right behind him.
Yeah, a nice train of cars here, but it only takes one mistake to create some big chaos, so drivers will have to be super careful, as O'Connor trying to stick his nose on the inside of Whiting, not going to work. Let's actually watch from the rear. Oh,
Ooh,
so
oh! As Miroslav Nastarchik, he's fortunately gone into the wall there, just got a bit of opposite lock, overcorrected it and into the tyre walls. And well, we were saying how the tyre walls aren't as bad as concrete. Well, when you hit it that hard, it's pretty much the same effect.
And I think the simulator just took him to the pits because he was leaving the premises of the racetrack. And usually when that happens, iRacing takes you back to the pits. And that was a big crash. Very, very bad luck, because Miroslav was having a fantastic debut in the series. And very cruel for him, because he won't be able to be eligible for the reverse, given that you need to be on the lead lap and there is no time to recover for sure with this lap and one more before the end of the race. Oh, look who's in closing in on the two leaders, by the way.
Yes, good old Johnny Brandon. Not a bad driver himself. And, I mean, it's currently 2 packs of 3, isn't it? You've got Klusterman, Stadler, Jackson struggling to really make much of an impression on these guys. In fact, I imagine on this lap it's going to be Klusterman a little bit slower than Brandon. He's turning up the wick a little bit. Hasn't necessarily been blowing away the field this season as Johnny Brandon, but he does have the championship lead, as I was saying. Has taken part in every single round, of course. No, Nicole Foggy, of course, today. Driving the TCR, the Audi RS3 TCR car, I believe. So a little bit preoccupied with that. Johnny was hoping that he'd get over it quite quickly, but no, Nicole seems to be enjoying it quite a bit. So you'll see him back in this series. Of course, the defending champion. No driver has won consecutive championships in this series since Tony Klusterman Season 1 and Season 2, and now on Season 7, of course. And certainly that doesn't look like it's going to be the case this season either. Taliancic hasn't won the championship, neither has McLeay, of course. But here comes Brandon. Down the inside, McLeay squeezing it right to the inside, squeezing against the wall there. Down the inside goes the XPR driver, and McLeay tries to turn in. There was the car on the inside, and McLeay's going to go off the circuit onto the grass. Can Klusterman take advantage? There's going to be more contact. McLeay running wide. They might still be in their same positions though.
Well, we'll have to take a look at that at the end of the race. Taljancic, great victory, and he brings home some valuable points. The perfect way to come back after missing the previous round at Virginia International Raceway. But what a chaotic finish that was.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry for not paying too much attention to Michael Taljancic as he crossed the line, but with everything that was going on behind, they kind of took each other out in the end. And it was Taljancic then to take the win.
Replay time.
Credit to Brandon for sticking down the inside there. A little bit of net code, at least from what I'm seeing.
Yes.
And Klusman is seeing half an opportunity over the opportunistic. And felt as though he might just have a chance at taking that podium results, which he ought to have had earlier on. But Stadler, in the end, also getting ahead into 4th place. And Jackson as well, only 8 1,000ths of a second behind Klusman across the line. So race 1 is done. I mean, that's the dull one. So if you enjoyed race 1, come back for race 2 and race 3 when we have a big old reverse grid. And that's really going to mix up the order. Taljancic, though, wins out 1 second ahead of Johnny Brandon, who was kind of just waiting until right at the end, maybe protected his tyres a little bit better, and managed to move up into 2nd place right at the close. George McClay rounds out the podium with Harold Stadler in 4th place. That's very good for Texans Pitstone Motorsport, 3rd and 4th. Then it's Never Quit Racing with Tim Klusman, Chris Jackson, and Gary Croft as well in 5th, 6th, and 7th. Then it's Greg Carr, Nikolai Bokatayev, Richard Warmingham, Ronald Moons, Clyde Whiting, Steve Lavelli, Anthony Woodward, Sam Buzan, Ryan Walker, good drive from him, up 5 places to 16th. Then it was Peter Bingham, Michael Frost, Lane O'Connor. 1 lap down was Maciej Kuziak, Bill Switzer, Andrew Hoffman. 2 laps down was Miroslav Nastarchik, who of course went off into oblivion. And hopefully we'll be back later on. Tanaka, Waiderka, and Taranto didn't take the start. They did join the session. They didn't set a qualifying time or take the start though. So maybe they'll be around for race 2 and 3, but I don't hold out a load of hope. There is Taljancic, of course, doing some donuts. Why no one has learned how to write with those spinning wheels? I don't know. I mean, that might be the one good thing that I could be good at, perhaps, in the future. I'll try, although I'd have to win a race first, so probably not. Okay, we have the reverse grid, of course, for race 2 up on the screen, I believe.
Yeah, hopefully we're making up for not being too enthusiastic about him winning the race, now making up for it by showing these beautiful donuts by Michael Taljancic in slow motion. You are right, the reverse grid wheel then should be on your screen right now. There it is, and let's roll it. So it's full -3. That's what the wheel says.
Are drivers who are 1 lap down eligible? I don't believe they are.
You have to be on the lead lap.
You have to be on the lead lap. So it's not Lane O'Connor. It's not Michael Frost. It's not Peter Bingham. It is Ryan Walker, our fellow commentator. Of course, so what people don't know is that we just type in a number before we spin the wheel, and then whatever number we type in comes up with that. So thanks our algorithm for doing that for us, and Ryan Walker
For the donation.
Thanks to Ryan for the donation, absolutely. He's never been paid, actually, to do commentary for us. It's all been in preparation for this. So thank you very much to him. Sam Buzan will be alongside him on the front row of the grid. That will be race 2, and we'll be back in about 20 minutes' time for it. You do not want to miss it. See you then.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail. Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Welcome back to the Racetech UV8 Supercar Series live on Apex Racing TV. Once again, we're at Watkins Glen International Circuit. And once again, I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and once again, alongside me in the commentary box and on the cameras is Marco Barbiner. And Marco, we just witnessed a terrific race one, super close amongst the top runners. Michael Taliancic ending up on top for his 4th win of the season, but it looks so competitive behind him, and with a big reverse grid as we expected for this race too, maybe we could get a surprise winner in this 15-minute race.
Absolutely, Sam. Especially, and I certainly do not want this to happen, but it is in the realm of possibilities. Especially if something happens in the S's, and the quick drivers are involved in something. This could really be the chance for some of the drivers who, are the series regulars, but always missing that all-important race win to bring home first prize in today's second race. As the warm-up is finally over, we shall be ready to give you the starting grid in just a few seconds with maybe Victor Tanaka taking part in this race. We shall see, and here we go with the starting grid then.
Yes, and well, we were slightly incorrect. Seems like Peter Bingham then is going to be on pole position for race one. Ryan Walker, we thought he was going to be on pole position, but instead he'll be on the front row of the grid, so a fantastic opportunity for him. Top of the AM drivers is going to be Sam Buzan with Anthony Woodward alongside him. Then it's Steve Lavelli, Clyde Whiting, Ronald Moons, Richard Warmingham, Nikolai Bogatayev, Greg Carr, Guy Croft, Chris Jackson, Tony Klusman, Hal Stadler, George McClay, Johnny Brenton, and race one winner Michael Taliancic. Then in 18th is Michael Frost, 19th Lane O'Connor and Maciej Kuziak. Rounds out the top 20. Behind that, it's Bill Switzer, Andrew Hoffman, Miroslav Nastalchik, Victor Tanaka, and well, hopefully Tanaka will take the start. He will be in 24th position. So here we go then. The drivers are on the grid, and we're about to get underway for another 15-minute race. Can Bingham hang on to it? It's Vulcan Racing on the pole position, and race 2 at Watkins Glen is underway. Fantastic start for Walker. It appeared off the line, but in fact it's actually the Asia Racing driver Buzan who seems to have the best run, going down into turn 1, almost 3 wide between 3rd, 4th and 5th, but out in the lead it's Bingham under massive pressure from Buzan straight away, sneaking down the inside. Are we going to see contact down this S's section? It's a lot more busy than we saw in race 1. The drivers getting into single file much later, as you see a little bit of 2 wide down the order. Bingham does a superb job at hanging on to the race lead. Surely that's a driver in the wall.
Oh!
The racing driver, and now that we have got a spinner, that's
Klosterman, Taliancic, McClay.
Drivers who have got through are maybe Jackson. I think it may have been Stadler actually, who was the driver involved, who got flipped around. And certainly Klosterman getting involved as well. So that is a lot of the big runners out of it, and maybe with a few of the others getting damage as well. But it's Peter Bingham leading the way then from Sam Buzan and Anthony Woodward after 1 lap.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, maybe I saw McClay involved in that, but maybe he was able to run through the wreck. But certainly 2 of the quickest drivers in race 1 are already out of the equation, Sam, for this race to win. As Bingham leads the first lap in front of Sam Buzan, Anthony Woodward, Ryan Walker and Steve Lavelli in the top 5.
Yes, it's still very close amongst the top 5 or so drivers. Line astern as to head up the hill. I expect lots of overtakes amongst these guys as the fastest drivers move their way up. Usually they do find their way up within about 10 minutes or so, but with that big contact that we've already seen, it might be more difficult for them. Buzan's going to be under pressure from Woodward if he's not careful, trying to go on the attack for the race lead, but he needs to have one eye in the mirrors as well, taking a lot of curve, running the risk of a slowdown. Now he's running the risk of taking the lead perhaps. Still doing a really good job is Bingham at hanging on. Greg Carr, I believe, maybe his toe back. It's not quite sure. No, he's still going on his way. Apologies, just a little bit further down the order as going down the inside. Surely this is going to be a change for the lead. Buzan down the inside for Asia Racing, and he does get past the Vulcan Racing driver. Not too much resistance put up by Peter Bingham. He knew what was best there, and now they start fighting behind him. Sam Buzan, who's never won a race in this series, has got half a chance as the next top driver is Chris Jackson down in 10th place.
Side by side between Woodward and Walker as they go into the first corner. Wheels are locking, getting very close to each other. There's an NQR car, is a Greg car going very wide in there. I think just in front of Taliancic as the pack is going through the S's once again. A little bit sideways there was Walker, but you can see Buzin really pulling away or trying to do so. This is a great chance for him. Oh, Chris Jackson with an issue.
I mean, well, he had a chance at a podium, didn't he? So, of course, something went wrong for Chris Jackson, one of the most unfortunate men in this series. I mean, I amend that, the most unfortunate guy in this series. Seemed to be opening up for him decently. Did he get a tap round, or was that just locking up the tyre? Seems a little bit sudden. And, of course, quite a concertina effect going into that corner. Oh, no. Maybe it was... oh dear. Maybe it was Ericsson.
Oh, who's that? Is Ryan Walker in the wall? Oh, losing several positions. It's all kicking off, Sam. Look at this. Bokatayev goes wide. Someone is going straight into that corner there.
Yes, absolute chaos at the moment. Bingham loses 6 places, by the way, or 5 places from where he was, so he must have been the driver involved in that Ryan Walker spin. He was doing very well, but drops down the order. Hopefully will still be eligible for the first grid, but I think with the amount of damage he's got, that's not looking too good. Bingham loses another place then to George McClay. He's up 8 places so far. Podium in race 1, might be able to repeat that in this race too, if he can keep this type of progress up. Johnny Brandon in 10th place, he's also making up a few moves. But the 2 leaders a little bit separated at the moment, 1.6 seconds.
Oh, there we go. Big wreck. Massive wreck. Oh, dear me. And Bingham, sorry, and... oh, Taliancic. Oh, man, what's going on in this race? As I think I've lost Sam.
No,
Croft.
sorry, yeah, Taliancic, yeah, with damage right there, just trying to catch up with all the action. A lot.
Yeah, so
last half lap or so.
just in front of Johnny Brandon, I think all of that happened, and after that, the spin by Taliancic, and he ended up in the wall. I think we have the Taliancic, oh, got collected by one of the damaged car there in the wreck, the 28 of Gary Croft. Oh, had no direct, I think his car was like destroyed.
Trying to get back into
Let's
the
see.
pits as
Yeah,
well, I think.
he had no steering, look at that. Very unfortunate. Then let's see what happened to Greg Carr. Hold on, because this is going to be quite a ride. Back live, Sam, and if you look at the left side of your screen, the top 2 guys in the race are also the top 2 cars in the club championship race, which is something we don't say very often around here.
Yes, absolutely. Not too common. Now, of course, it's not supposed to happen, but of course, with these first, it really does set off some craziness, and that is what we've witnessed so far. He is about halfway through this race. Then is Sam Buzan to this race victory. Not if George McClay has got anything to do with it, though. He won 1 race last season, the last race of season 6 at Snetterton, and he's won the last race, or this race 2 at Virginia International Raceway as well last week. So potentially a 3rd race win for him. What can Brandon do? He managed to somehow get through all that craziness. It all occurred behind him, and he was absolutely fine. He's trying to get past Ronald Moons. This would be his 9th place gained. Moons kind of keeps his nose in there. compromises Brandon's line a little bit, but he is fine now. And also trying to just nip down the inside there is Chris Jackson after his tribulations earlier on. He was ahead of McClay as well. You just wonder if it weren't for that off for Jackson, maybe he'd be really fighting, have a fighting chance at this race win, or at least a podium. Everyone currently down to Chris Jackson, in fact, in 9th place, is separated by less than a second between each car. You can see each car just moving up through the hill. It's going to get a whole lot closer than that in the remaining laps, and this is teed up perfectly for an exciting finish.
Yes, absolutely. As listen to the tires squealing, asking for mercy, but Jackson is really pushing them to the limit. I would imagine that the new cars, when they will come with a new tire model already in, which I think should be the case with all the newly released cars in racing, and hopefully already the new damage model. Oh, Jackson. And that will change a lot of how you drive these cars. I think also, of course, there will be a revamped physics. By the way, Anthony Woodward getting closer and closer to Sam Busin. Sam Busin trying to repeat the magic of his teammate, JP Buslen, of course. Trying to bring home a surprise race victory, but he will have to endure 6 or 7 very tough minutes.
Are you sure they were teammates? I don't remember JP Buslan being an NCA driver.
Who am I mistaking him for then?
I think we'll get to the bottom of this.
Soiree, of course, Soiree.
Sorry, Dominic Sorry, sure. Who didn't ever win a race. Also, just a little bit of a word, how Buzan and Woodward, as Brandon makes up another place, gets past Clyde Whiting, so haven't really talked too much about, but Whiting up in the top 7, very impressive for him. Brandon up into the top 6 now. But of course, the eligibility to become a club driver, you can't finish in the top 5 in any race which has more than 20 drivers in it. So if Bhutan and Woodward finish up in the top 5, then next season they will lose that club status and they'll become pro drivers. So just a little bit of a word there. Jackson really close on the tail at the moment of Ron off me. He's really losing the car a little bit, maybe overheating those tires. Ever so difficult to cool them back down, especially around this place where you got kind of corners every so often, lots of traction zones. McClay now onto Lavelli, who's another driver we haven't talked about too much. Is up 1 place from his start, is Steve Lavelli actually, and McClay is only 2 seconds off the race lead. He can see the race leader, he could almost touch them if he had freakishly long arms, and but Lavelli putting up a decent fight, keeping that car to the inside, just frustrating the Texan Spitstone Motorsport driver a little longer. And I mean, we haven't got too much left. We've got just over 4 minutes to go in this race.
And Jackson cannot get past Moons there in 9th place. Whiting also enjoying one of his best drives in quite some time, sitting there in P7 as Lavelli is defending on McClay. On the inside is the fifth side driver. They make a little bit of contact and Lavelli keeps the position whilst they're back at the front. A couple of cars there you can see ahead of them warming up on the outside of Woodward. This is for 2nd place. This is certainly helping a bit everyone else in front and behind, especially Buzin, as McClay side by side in the S as Lavelli is in the grass. This is going to be very, very sketchy. Hopefully he can hold it when rejoining. He does so good driving there. But we have to switch already back to the fight for 2nd. Here comes Birmingham.
Surely the inside line is going to be the place to be, but Woodward, brilliant driving down the outside, and he hangs on to 2nd place. Warming with a little bit of a slide there. Now McClay will go down the inside. Was there contact between the two of them? Maybe Warming just getting a little bit of space. That was half an opportunity for Warming to perhaps get a race win today. Maybe he's still got an opportunity because he's got a better run than McClay down this back straight. A couple of corners to go until we start lap 11 of this race. Warming puts his car down the inside. McClay running round the edge and gets ahead. Really good pace carried and he's only got 2 more cars to go. He's gained 12 places already. He's only got 2 to go for his 3rd race victory in this series. But surely, Sam Buzan, has he got a big enough gap? We've got a couple laps to go. And we just saw a little bit of that big pack of Whiting, Moons, Jackson, and Lavelli all chasing one another. But I mean, it's quite a lot of pressure on Sam Buzan. These are quick races, but I mean, if you're leading them, if you've got something to lose, they feel like an absolute eternity. And as the manager of the ASEA Racing Endurance Championship, I mean, it's got to feel pretty similar to that for him right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we talked about this at length both today and in the previous broadcasts that we have done together, how much of a learning curve you have to endure to get good in this car. And when you finally are in a position to win, it always feels like it's a long time coming and all your hard work can be repaid, but you need to bring that car home. And for Sam Buzan, the road is still not over yet, as these guys will not make a pass. 2 more laps, I'm afraid, Sam.
Yep, 2 more laps to hang on. Will it be 2 more laps? Only just, but yeah, you're absolutely right, Marco. It will be 2 more laps. He doesn't have the luxury of a half-a-minute gap where he can slow down and only make it 1 more lap. See how close everyone is. You know, Bogotaev's only 8 seconds off the lead. Instead, but he's still running down in 10th place as we speak, trying to get past Steve Lavelli. Here is McLean. Has to make this one straight away. He's got 1.5 laps to catch up to the leader. And he's surely got one of the moves done. 1.2 seconds then to catch, but he's taken way too much curve. That's got to be a slowdown. But, I mean, has he got away with it? I know you can take a lot of curve there. It's the fastest way to take it in the majority of cars. And he may just have got away with this one. No, I think, he has got away with it as George McClay. So he can set his sights on the race leader. The gap is 1 second, and we've got 1 and a bit laps to go. Sam Buzan, I was talking earlier on how JP Boussoulan was the last driver to be a big shock winner in this series over a year ago. Surely Sam Buzan, with a lap to go, is going to be able to repeat that feat. But just as we've been speaking, McClay's taken a couple of tenths out of the race leader. Warmium trying to get past Woodward now. Warmium trying to get past Woodward, who's just been overtaken by McClay. Still, this could end up being the winning position if the top 2 come to blows, as McClay did in race 1, of course, when fighting for 2nd place with Johnny Brandon. Speaking of Brandon, of course, he's right behind these drivers as well. And will there be a bit of cooperation between the teammates there?
Oh dear!
Just hanging on to it there is Anthony Woodward. Like I said earlier on, barely a corner in most cars, but in these very powerful V8 supercars, very difficult, and Brandon does get ahead. But we have got 2.5 corners to go. George McClay gets in closer and closer. It's going to come right down to the wire. McClay with a slide, trying not to use any of that grass, keeping it within the confines of the circuit. But Sam Buzan, car number 2, the ASEA Racing driver, he debuted in Season 4. Is he going to be able to achieve his first ever win in this series? He's got 1 more corner to go. George McClay is catching still. It could be a run to the line. McClay is catching 2 tenths to a second, 1.5 tenths to a second. It's not going to get to 0 though, as Sam Buzan crosses the line and he wins race 2 at Watkins Glen. And that is a terrific win for a club driver. Of course, 2 club drivers on the podium. And Marco, I haven't seen much better scenes than that in this series.
I mean, that was a fantastic race. It had everything you could want, including a surprise winner. And we say finally a surprise winner because in this championship there are so many drivers that win races. It's there's not like one dominating driver. There are 2, 3, 4 drivers that 5 that can win a race every 2 Saturdays. But so it's tough to get a surprise winner because of that, but finally we got one, and this is going to be a very popular win up and down the paddock, of course. Personally, I'm very, very happy with Sam because I'm sure he worked super hard for this, and look how happy he is.
Maybe he's learnt how to write something with his skid marks. Maybe not, I don't know, but hopefully we're going to see some donuts NASCAR style across the line. Congratulations to Sam Buzan. Of course, Sia Racing have their own YouTube channel. I mean, that's a very good plug. And also, they host the V8 this series, UV8 Supercar Series podcast, the Backfire podcast, I believe it's called. Did listen to one of them, and it's very good. I recommend checking it out. And certainly, if you want to get up to date with this series, I mean, Tony Klusterman and Clyde Whiting and Johnny Brandon, I believe, are the regulars, along with a special guest each week as well. So certainly, do recommend checking that out. So we can go through the final results and the winner, as we've said previously, Sam Buzan, 1/10. It came down to, I mean, one more corner, and George McClay may have had the edge. She was catching. Terrific effort, though, from McClay, his second podium of the day. Anthony Woodward finishes in third place. Johnny Brandon, terrific fourth from 16th on the grid. There's Richard Warmingham. Clyde Whiting, terrific sixth place. I can't remember the last time Whiting finished that high up on the grid, nearly losing his club status as well. Then Ronald Means in seventh. Chris Jackson, what could have been for him if it weren't for an off early on? Only 8 seconds off the lead, but 8th place in the end. Then behind that was Steve Lavelli, Nikolai Bogatyrev, Michael Taliancic, who covers to 11th place. He's going to be very dangerous for race today. There's Maciej Kuziak, Greg Carr, Andrew Hoffman, Harold Stadler, Peter Bingham, Ryan Walker, and Gary Croft. One lap down was Tony Klusman, so I don't believe he'll be eligible for the reverse grid. Although we did get the race 1 reverse grid wrong, so we'll wait and see. 2 laps down was Bill Switzer, and then the retirees were Michael Frost, Miroslav Nastarchik, Lane O'Connor, and Victor Tanaka did not take the start. So, Marco, the second reverse grid wheel of the evening is about to be shown.
Exactly. One word about Sam Buzin, the worst donuts in the history of the series, because he did half a donut, then he parked it against the pit wall. But still, I mean, that must be the excitement for the race win. And here we go. The reverse grid wheel should be on your screen right now. And so let's roll it. Okay, it is 30 plus 3, so it makes 33, and I would guess that this is going to be a full reverse with Gary Croft on pole position, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it should be like that. Guy Croft on pole position. Ryan Walker again starting in second place. Let's see if he can do a little bit better than 17th in race 3. Peter Bingham starts in third, and Hal Stadler, pretty top of the kind of top drivers. Stadler's been very quick in race 1 at least. So certainly watch out for him, and Taliancic as well will be starting in maybe 8th place, something like that at least. So, I mean, race 2 was terrific. You do not want to miss race 3, the final race of the evening in the UV8 Supercar Series. We'll be back in about 20 minutes' time.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail. Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Welcome back to the Racetech UV8 Supercar Series live on Apex Racing TV. Once again, I'm Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Marco Barbonet, and also on the cameras, of course, is Marco Barbonet as well. And we're just preparing for race 3 of the evening. We've been enthralled by the first two races being won by Michael Taliancic and then Sam Buzan. A big shock win for Buzan, the club driver, managing to take his first ever win in this series. Drivers now just gridding up, and we can go through the grid for you. And it's on pole position will be Guy Croft ahead of Ryan Walker, then Peter Bingham, Harold Stadler, watch out for him from 4th, Andrew Hoffman, Greg Carr, Maciej Kuziak, then Michael Taliancic can be a big danger from 8th. Then it's Nikolai Bogotayev, Steve Lavelli, Chris Jackson, Ronald Moons, Clyde Whiting, Richard Warmingham, Johnny Brandon, Anthony Woodward, George McClay, Sam Buzan, Tony Klusterman, Bill Switzer, Michael Frost, Miroslav Nastalchik, and Lane O'Connor. 23 drivers, no Tanaka, unfortunately, in this one. Seemingly, he's not going to take part in any of the races. But pretty much we are ready to go then. So race 3 of the evening here at Watkins Glen. It's Guy Croft from the pole position, and away we go for 15 minutes of racing. Not a terrific start from Croft, but he should be protected going into turn 1 from Ryan Walker, trying to get alongside him, trying to nip down the inside there is Stadler. Great start for him, already up 1 place. Great run for Walker around the outside there, and he takes the lead. Possibly the first time he's ever been in a race of one of these races, as they all come through the turns 2, 3 and 4. This is where we saw an instance race 2. So far, the drivers being very well respected, but it's ever so close amongst everyone down the order. Good start for Greg Carr as well, gaining a place. Bogotayev up a couple places, so too is LeVay. Poor start for Taliancic. He's lost a place, and you can see him really getting in amongst some of these other drivers. He's now got Chris Jackson right on his tail.
Yes, clean start once again. Ryan Walker at the best jump of the field, as we have a blinking driver there. I don't know if it's as we thank Chill Out for subscribing to Apex Racing TV on YouTube. Hopefully you are enjoying the show. Certainly 2 of the best races of the season, and looks like race 3 is going to be more of the same. Taliancic on the inside of Lavelli, passed also Chris Jackson there, but Jackson is coming back, and I think we're going to have a very tough situation in the first corner. Yes, Jackson gets by his rival. Here comes Brandon as well, side by side with his teammate, and behind Moons, as Jackson and Taliancic are still very close with each other.
Yeah, Taliancic losing a lot of points in race 2. He could still end up as the round highest scorer if he can get maybe a podium out of this one, outscore the likes of Brandon and McClay heavily. Those 2 drivers are the only 2 who have had clean both 2 races. Taliancic looking every which way, but having to back out of it, and this has been a real troublesome 1.5 laps so far for him. Hasn't been troublesome though for Ryan Walker. This is exactly what he wanted to Talk Big Racing. He's still ahead of Guy Croft, who actually has got a very good run. Croft, who lost the lead in the opening corner, thinking about retaliating there, but thinks better of it. Stadler's right on his turn. Stadler was very quick in race 1, possibly the quickest we've ever seen him in this series. He can just clear these 2 drivers. You feel as though he can maybe pull out a big enough gap to the likes of Taliancic behind.
Jackson and Taliancic still fighting. Here comes behind them 3 wide for Johnny Brandon, trying to get past Hoffman and Lavelli. His teammate look in front of that because Taliancic is very wide. And he has to do a tough rejoin in the meantime, side by side for the lead through the S as Walker comes out in front, but this is not over just yet.
Greg Carr with the fastest lap of the race that last time round. He's up 2 places in 4th place, and probably just him in the background a little bit, but Walker doing everything he needs to hold off Croft. Is losing them a bit of time though to the others, and the likes of Bingham and Bogotayev and Jackson, Taliancic, Brandon all really catching up. It's almost one big bunch of cars now. You can just see a little bit of a gap between 4th and 5th, but I'm sure that is going to close very soon. Once again, Croft, a good exit from the carousel. He seems to like that part of the circuit, but it's not a big enough braking zone into the penultimate corner to really go for an overtake. And now you can see how Kai is right on the tail of those top 3. Look at this pack, isn't too bad. Behind Andrew Hoffman currently, Steve Lavelli second place in this pack. See how George McClare's got a lot of work to do to get to the front.
And surprisingly, Stadler gets the jump on Carr. We were waiting for, Croft. We were waiting for Croft to make the move on Walker, but now it's Ara Stadler in second, Croft in third, and here comes Greg Carr. Croft teammate is sitting in fourth place and looking for more. As you saw there in the back, how far behind Klusterman and McClay are, 13th and 15th, and also this massive pack here with several drivers involved. Here comes Bogatairev sideways, someone cast the chicane there, and hopefully nothing worse has happened. I think that was Peter Bingham jumping the chicane. Sam, the amount of craziness we are seeing tonight, and we still have most of this race left to go, is, I think, unmatched all season.
Absolutely. I struggle to think of a more action-packed race than this. And side and the contact behind, going off into Pennsylvania, I think there. Bingham and Hoffman. Had another spin there. I think now it's Kujak and maybe Bingham having a spin. Or Switzer, sorry.
Yeah.
So that corner, big trouble spot.
Maybe someone spilled some oil there. Hopefully that will be a feature in a racing soon. Or maybe not, I don't know. it's a very cruel idea, from a commentating point of view, very exciting.
I mean, that's a very good joke. If you meant cruel idea, crude oil, I don't know.
No.
But I mean, if you meant it, I mean, it would be very impressive. Anyway, I'm now trying to think of some more puns myself, but very much struggling, I must say. Ryan Walker leading the way, and he's 2/10 of a second ahead of Howard Stadler. He's yet to overtake. Seems like Walker really knows where just to put his car. Hasn't seemingly got too many weaknesses out there, just very consistently each of the corners. Grandin now gets past Bogatairev. Tries to get past Bogatairev, at least on the outside, going through the final corner. Onto the front straight they head. And you can see how they're on the same straight as the race leaders. Just shows how close these drivers are. Talyancic in 5th place now, and he is going to catch these guys quickly, safe to say. I reckon probably a second and a half per lap, so he'll be with them probably by the end of the next lap. But for now, they've got a little bit of breathing room. Carr in 4th place out of this train, trying to get past his teammate. Here is Stadler going to the outside, better straight line speed for him. But Walker has the middle of the circuit, that's where you want to be. And as each lap ticks by, a possible race victory for Ryan Walker looks all the more possible.
Ryan, of course, being one of the best MX-5 drivers in all of iRacing, and certainly in MX-5 competition, you have to know how to defend, especially in the BSR leagues, and he knows all about that. It's going to be tough because Stadler is very, very quick, and Talyancic is coming, and of course the two NQR guys are not, easy customers. And Jackson is also coming and bringing with him Johnny Brandon, who is sitting in 8th place. Talyancic, for the second lap running, gets the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, he's now down only 1 second behind, so like I said, he will catch up to the back of these drivers by the end of this lap. Stadler, pretty much exact copy of last lap. Has he got an extra card up his sleeve? He goes to the outside. He could maybe try to dummy, but it's such a fast chicane this, despite being a bus stop and being quite narrow. You can still carry a lot of speed through, so the braking point, or the braking zone, apologies, just isn't really big enough to go for a lunge. And now Talyancic, yeah, I mean, I said at the end of this lap, I mean, halfway around this lap, and he's already right onto the back of these drivers. 1/10 of a second between the top two. Has Ryan Walker just left a little bit too much of a window open here?
He's wide!
He's going to lose the lead now, and Stadler moves up. Where is Walker going to drop into? Second place, maybe contact. Big contact between the Neverquit Racing driver. Talyancic gets into the back of Greg Carr. It holds up the pair of them, and now Croft is going to try to desperately get past Walker. He's already had a few laps of following him. Super deep for car. Somehow manages to to avoid those other drivers. Taljancic gains 1 place, but it's allowed Hal Stadler to make a 1.5 second gap now.
Oh, big wreck for McLean. And that will be his race, Sam.
Race 2, 2nd place. Race 1, 3rd place. This is how it happened. This is battling with Steve Lavelli.
Oh, they hooked. So going back to what happened at the front, this is certainly not what these drivers had to do, because they are clearing the pathway for Taljancic to come you know, through them like a knife through butter, even though these are all very tough costumers. But look at that, Taljancic doesn't need a second invitation and he wants to redeem himself after his disappointing, though not for his own wrongdoings, race 2. And also, of course, coming back there, you can see Jackson and Brandon. Let's see where Jackson is. Oh, in the wall!
I was about to say, I hope Jackson gets past his teammates, because I think he might be able to go with Taljancic, maybe even pick up some pieces to get a podium, but went down the inside, just his teammate didn't quite leave him as much room as he thought he would do. Gary Croft that was. And into the tyre wall, so not too much damage, but big shame for him. Side by side, between warming. Oh, that's deep on the brakes. Gets it done. I mean,
that's
would have been
nice
very
move.
concerned. As very slow across the grass there, it's Steve Lavelli sure going to pick up a slowdown for that one. And look at that, mirror slot going around pretty much all of them. It's something like 3 places gained in a couple of corners.
Wow, yeah, not bad for the rookie there, Nastalchik, having a crazy move. Taljancic now is knocking on. We might have a situation similar to race 2, Sam, with the quicker driver catching up to the slightly slower driver, because Ara Stadler is a very, very good driver, and having just, I think, 1 or 2 laps to get the move done. Here comes Taljancic on the other side. We know Walker, a very clean driver, doesn't force the issue. Taljancic goes past him, and now it is going to be 2.5 seconds, the gap that Stadler will have to manage in these remaining 3.5 minutes of the race. The question is, Sam, can he do it?
Yes, he's got his target set. Can he get to it in time? Not sure how many laps we're going to have, but we've got 3.5 minutes to go, so maybe 3 more laps to go after this one. Certainly it's been quite consistent between races 2 and 3 with the amount of laps we've got in these 15-minute races. Used to be laps races, of course, but a change for this season as Bogotayev with a bit of a nudge there, just behind from Klosterman. And this has opened up for Klosterman a little bit, because he's got Bogotayev, Croft he can certainly catch up to, maybe even the likes of Walker, Carr and Brandon he might be able to catch up to. But he's got to get past Bogotayev first. Just looking on the inside, Walker having to defend now. He spent the majority of his race defending, this time on Greg Carr. And Brandon, the opportunistic, and goes down the inside, gains 1 place up into 4th now. He's trying Brandon up 11 places. This has been a terrific day for him. Doesn't look like he's going to come away with a race victory, but crucially, he's going to score more points than anyone else, it seems, because he's been so consistent. Brandon now looks to the inside of Walker, but does the wise thing and backs out of it.
Yes, and Walker, of course, running a tightrope there, little bit sideways entering the chicane, keeping the position. Now a good chance for Brandon, as the gap front is 1.7 seconds. As now Brandon on the outside, now switching maybe to the inside. Here comes Carr. 3 wide. Oh, and there's a little bit of contact, and Walker is the unfortunate only loser of the situation, going wide and losing several positions, but valiant effort for Ryan. Sadly, he will have nothing to show for from this race, and rejoin, makes me want to, you know, you say in Italy, to Oh man, I don't get the words, but they will come out in a second. Pinch his ears or something, you know. This is something we say in Italy when you do something bad. And
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Harold Sadler, its ears won't be pinched, I'm sure, because he's been driving without fault 1.5 seconds the gap with a couple of minutes to go. 1 more minute to go, so we're going to have this lap and then one more. And it's 1 second currently. So Tanjancic will catch, most likely. But will he have the time to make the move? He was 0.7 of a second faster on the last lap. We'll keep an eye out on the times for this lap. Still, battles going on all down the field as a driver buried in the wall, seemingly on the side there,
Switzer.
not turning back to the pits yet. There you go, Bill Switzer. Seemingly everyone getting past okay. Chris Jackson passing Samuel Buzan, big contact. And Buzan keeps that position. The race 2 winner stays ahead of Chris Jackson as
White
we
flag.
head on to the final lap of this race. Lap 13, will it be lucky or unlucky for Harold Stadler? They are a long way ahead of Johnny Brandon, who's going to be able to get another podium result. He's going to be the winner for tonight, but he's going to be the winner in this race 3. Tanjancic closes massively on the brakes going into the bus stop. He hasn't got too much to lose. Slow down wouldn't lose him any positions at this point. Down to half a second. Has Stadler got it covered? We saw Buzan take his first race win in this series just in race 2. That was a big shock. This isn't going to be a massive shock because Harold Stadler has been knocking on the door for a long time. Made his debut at the start of last season. And he's only got one more corner to go to claim his first ever race victory. Tanjancic too busy fighting himself, can't fight Harold Stadler, and Stadler will come out the final corner, approach the line, and he wins his first ever race in the Euro V8 Supercar Series sponsored by Racetech. Congratulations to the Texan Spitstyle Motorsport driver. A lot has been said about how he will eventually win a race, and finally, today has broken the ducks. Everyone else crossing the line. Tanjancic in second place. Brandon in third. Greg Carr will finish in fourth place. Good result for him. And Klosterman rounding out the top 5. Great recovery drive. Walker will be one of the last across the line. Just got Kuzak and Bingham to get across, I believe. Rest of the drivers, retirees already going back to the pits. I think Bingham's actually got a while to go, to be honest. But here is Harold Stadler, and I mean, Marco, it's been said on the V8 podcast. I know how it's almost been known that he will eventually get a race victory, but it's taken a while. It's been something like maybe 15 rounds, something like that, for him finally to take it. But once he had half an opportunity today, he drove the perfect race, got to the lead, built up just a big enough gap, and didn't give Tanjancic the opportunity to get past on that last lap.
Absolutely fantastic drive. Fantastic. I mean, as per usual, the super sprints provide some great action, but today we finally had also the surprises in the super sprints, and so that is why we all love these formats. Maybe the quicker drivers don't necessarily agree, but this is the beauty of this series. You know, you have to be good in super sprint races, normal races, and of course the enduros, and so it gives everyone an opportunity to shine in these very tough cars at the discipline of racing that they prefer. And once again, you get the super slow motion for the winner, who hopefully doesn't bean it starting. Oh dear, even straight into the fence there. We need to work on some. You see, Tanjancic, proven race winner. He got perfect donuts. Stadler and Buzin have to work on them on their version of the donuts. But now, Sam, here we go with the race results from race 3.
Yes, should be on your screen right now. Harold Stadler wins then, 3.5 tenths of a second. Small gaps in certainly races 2 and 3. Race 1 as well was very close. 3 terrific races. We can't really ask for much more than that. Johnny Brandon rounds out the podium with Greg Carr in 4th place, only 5 seconds off the lead. Terrific performance there from Carr. There's Tony Klusterman, Nikolai Bogataro, good to see him up there in 6th place. There's Gary Croft, Miroslav Nastalchik, Richard Warmingham, Steve Lavelli, Ronald Moons, Anthony Woodward, Sam Buzan, Chris Jackson, Clyde Whiting, Ryan Walker, Maciej Kuziak, Peter Bingham. Those were the drivers on the lead lap. One lap down was Michael Frost, and then the retirees were Bill Switzer, George McClay, Andrew Hoffman, and Lane O'Connor. We always get a few interviews with drivers, and then we might get a few extra interviews with drivers tonight, actually, because, so many drivers have done well. First up, we'll have a chat with a first-time winner, Harold Stadler. Congratulations, Harold. It's been a long time coming, this first race victory for you. It finally has, and it couldn't have been done much more stressfully.
Yeehaw! Thank you, guys. Hello, everyone. Yeah, that was a thrilling race, the last one. Yeah, I looked all the time when the fast guys came through, and finally Michael came through, and I thought, can he catch me? Can we catch me? No, he can't catch me. Yeah.
It must have been really difficult in those early stages, having to get past the likes of Carr and Walker. How difficult was the overtaking around this track?
Overtaking was a bit difficult. That's correct. Greg did a small mistake, which let me pass him on the main straight, but Ryan was a bit hard to crack. And yeah, but finally I got him, and I could go for it.
Definitely. Finally, you got this race victory. What are your aims for the rest of the season? I get because I imagine this was quite a big aim of yours to finally get a race win. Is it just looking forward to the second race win, or maybe is there a particular place in the championship you'd like to finish?
First of all, I'm happy with my first win. That was my first aim for this year. And yeah, I already told last race that I try to be a bit closer to the fast guys in this race. So luckily I could keep up with the fast guys. Already in the first race, they were not driving away like usual. I could keep up with them the whole race. Okay, battle with Tony cost a little bit time anyway, but P4 at the end was already a good result, and I was happy to achieve this P4 with only a couple of seconds behind them. Yeah, okay, race 2 was a little bit a pity, but anyway, and yeah, my aim for the rest of the season is I try to consolidate the pace, so I try to be more often in the front pack somehow. I have no special aim for championship place currently, because this season runs a little bit different than last season. So I have no clue where I will end up after the season. Yeah, but for me, it's the aim to keep the consistency and get closer to keep that close gap to the front.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you the best of luck for that, Harold, and congratulations for tonight's racing. Before we go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, of course, Fitzday Motorsports. You guys for broadcasting here at Apings Racing TV, Racetech for sponsoring the league, and of course Clyde and his guys for running this league. Yeah.
Well, once again,
thank you all, and every competitor today who let me win.
I'm sure the money will come through in envelopes in the next few days. Congratulations, Harold, and I'm sure we'll see you back in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
So that was Harold Sadler, race 3 winner, his first ever win in this series. So, Marco, who do you fancy having a chat with next?
Well, of course, we can have a chat with our race 2 winner, Sam Buzin. Hello, Sam. He's still very excited. Sam, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you guys.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Finally, great win. You had to really fight for it. I'm quite sure you're very happy.
Yeah, very happy, very happy. It was hard with George behind me. Yeah, I tried to not look at the mirror and the relatives, but yeah, it was very hard. Very happy for this one.
So how did you control your nerves during the race? How were you able to keep calm, if you kept calm at all? But from here, you looked quite in control of your car.
Yeah, like I said, I tried to don't look at the mirror when I saw George was behind me. I hope to the other guys slow him down a bit to leave me a bit of room for the last few laps. Yeah, and try to just not look at the relative and focus on the trajectories.
Before race 3, of course, you were asked by other drivers why you don't race regularly in this championship, and I give to you the same question because you showed today that you can really have some fun up front.
Yeah, the fact is I have sometimes a lot of work with my championship, the Asia Endurance Championship, as Sam said just after race 2. I'm quite busy with this one, and I don't have a lot of time to work and to practice with the V8. But yeah, it's always enjoyable to race with these guys. So, it's always fun races. I would try to be there more in the future.
5 rounds left in the season. Then Belial, Zandvoort, the Enduro, Panorama, Atlanta, and Silverstone. Have you got any plans on attending these final 5 races, depending on your work?
I hope I will be able to make at least the Bathurst, because it's one of my favorite tracks. I did not race well in the past in the V8 there, but yeah, I hope to be there at least at this one.
Well, Sam, congratulations once again. It was so exciting to call your victory here from the booth. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, of course, Asia, our main sponsor, Dom, my teammates, and all the guys at the V8 ESC working to bring us this wonderful series, and Racetech to sponsorize the series as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sam, and catch you in the future then.
Thank you, guys. See you.
And that was race 2 winner Sam Buzin. So happy for him, Sam. And then last but not least, I think we have one more interview.
Yes, so it's with our co-commentator at Apex Racing TV, of course, Ryan Walker. And I mean, Ryan, not necessarily that race 3 result you wanted, but it must have been great fun leading for pretty much half the race.
Yeah, I have to say that was absolutely brilliant fun. It didn't go the way I wanted it to, but to be battling up at the front with the likes of Harold and Johnny, Harold Stadler, Johnny Brandon, the likes of those people who are really quick with the V8. That was absolutely epic fun, and yeah, I think I'm not sure who was at fault for the incident between me and Johnny, but it was just one of those incidents, and at the end of the day, I absolutely enjoyed that race 3. It's probably the best fun I've had since joining the series.
Absolutely. You seem to defend brilliantly. Everyone else seemed to be getting past drivers quite easily, but you just managed to stick it right there. Do you know why you were quite so good at keeping some of the faster drivers behind you for so long?
I'm trying to think. It must have been that can of Fosters I had before the race. So yeah, it must have canned the nerves. But yeah, on a serious note, it was. I just said to myself just to kind of defend when it was safe to do so. So if they were close to be say on the home straight or on the straight after the S's, just kind of just defend the inside line before they caught up to me, and just kind of give them a bit of warning in advance that I was defending. I guess you could say, but it was just I just told myself not to overdrive or not to overdrive or push, and just lap at a pace I was comfortable with, and yeah, I managed to do that, and yeah, it was just unfortunate about the incident with Johnny, but it's one of those things, and it's just part of V8 supercar racing.
Absolutely. Sorry, well, in 2 weeks' time. Next week, of course, we have the support series, of course, for this championship. But in 2 weeks' time, we have the proper Belle Isle round in the Racetech UV8 Supercar Championship. I mean, this place maybe quite a good place for kind of beginner drivers like you in the car. But I mean, Belle Isle, that's going to be quite a challenge.
Yeah, I think I've never raced around. Well, I've done some races around Belle Isle with the MX5, but I think I think Belle Isle will probably be. It'll probably just be a case of trying to just put in as much practice in as possible and just kind of not worry about being on the pace and just kind of just focus on surviving both races. Plus, it's a track I really enjoy, so I'm quite looking forward to it.
You know what,
Definitely.
guys? I just realized that we are actually holding, occupying the channel for, Adam Bath and Sam Kumo because their
Oh.
Formula Renault 3.5 stream, cannot start until we are over, sadly. So,
Okay, I better get going.
well, Ryan, before we let you go, of course, anyone you'd like to thank?
Just the guys at Torque Feet Racing. You guys at the guys at Torque Feet Racing. I should say. You guys for putting the broadcast on, and also the guys that put on the series with the Euro V8s, and everyone else behind the scenes that does a good.
Awesome, Ryan. Thank you very much. Congratulations once again for the good race 3, and catch you next time. And Sam, I think it's time to call it a day.
Yes, unfortunately, we want to have a couple more interviews, but yes, of course, do watch the Renault 3.5 series coming up in just a few moments on Apex Racing TV. And of course, keep an eye out on our channel. Also, subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network because we cover lots of our series on there as well. But hopefully, you've enjoyed tonight. We certainly have, me and Marco, and hopefully, you'll be back with the Racetech UV8 Supercar series in a couple of weeks' time. But for now, from me and from Marco, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.